It's Mandatory Media, Season 2, Episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Back with my boy LG.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. Barbershop P.
My guy. What's happening?
And your boy Stack City
Trey
from the
Fo.
Trey Fo. You see the hoodie.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all feeling today, fellas?
Bro, I'm good, feeling good, blessed. Head hurting a little bit, but
Got them fresh braids. It'll do it to you.
yeah, I'll be all right.
LG, how your braids? I know yours fresh
Hey,
too.
yeah.
Y'all boys stay fresh.
Long
with
hair
the
don't care. Let's
Long
do
hair
it.
don't care. Man, I ain't had braids in 20 years. I don't miss it.
Go ahead and make it come back.
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good, man. And I'm going to stick with the hats. You know what I mean? Not like I ain't got the fresh cut. I do, but I'm just a hat guy.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I
it.
mean? And I'm a Commanders fan. I'm not a Raiders fan, but I wear any hat for any team except for the Cowboys.
How about 'em?
I won't wear the Cowboys.
How about them,
I
though?
won't do it.
You seen Jimmy
I
Johnson?
won't do it. I won't wear a Duke hat. I won't do it. I won't do it.
No, you can't do that.
And I
not,
won't,
not as a Target fan, you can't do that.
not as a Tar Heel. And I won't wear, as a Yankees fan, a Boston Red Sox hat. I just can't do it.
I
That's
understand.
tough. That's
understand.
I can't do it.
That's tough.
That's like,
But what I will wear, though, is HOOD, LAMB,
All right.
Hoodlum
Stop.
Apparel.
I see
That's
what
one
you
of our
did there.
sponsors.
Shout
You
out
see what I
Ron
did?
Stop. I see what you
Shout
did
out my
there.
boy Ron Stop.
Yes, sir.
Hoodlum, that's one of our sponsors. Again, HOOD, LAMB, Hoodlum Apparel. Go look them up on IG.
Yes,
Then
sir.
you can connect and click on to the website. You can order you hoodies, hats, all type of
T-shirts.
Hoodlum paraphernalia. Yes, sir. Speaking of sponsors,
Okay.
Vibes Barber Lounge.
Yes, sir.
Vibes Barber
Shout out
Lounge
Vibes.
platform.
Appreciate you.
You know what I mean?
appreciate
P,
you,
anything you want to say about Vibes?
I mean, we just a team, man. Like I said in the first episode, 810 East Franklin, man. Come check us out, bro. We the team. We here 6 days a week, bro. We always working. Somebody always gonna be here to get you right. So check us out, man. Right on Garrison.
So if you need a fresh cut, a fresh edge up, a fresh lineup, come to Vibes Barber Lounge in the Gas House.
Yes, sir.
Hit up my boy Barbershop P or one of his coworkers, and they're gonna get you right. Matter of fact, they got our edge up, like a little edge up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got it right before
Thank you, cuz.
we hit record.
It's
you know
mandatory.
what I mean?
It's
mandatory.
mandatory.
Come on, man.
It's mandatory. We also got Real Believers visuals. You know what I mean?
Shout
They
out
do our
Knowledge.
photo shoots, they do our
Knowledge.
graphics, they do our shorts, all of that. And behind the scenes, behind the camera, we got the Carolina Sports District.
Let's go.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
Yes, sir.
And today I'm wearing a Trey 4 hoodie.
Okay.
If you go to IG, we_R_Winston_JSAMS. If you from Winston or support the Trey 4 or you used to be from Winston, they got all type of Winston selling paraphernalia.
Nice,
My
nice,
boy
nice.
Jason. You got something on too from one of your
Yeah.
homies.
This is my boy LB, man. Happy Hour collab. Self-explanatory. I mean, it's happy hour, so you make up what you want. He got CBD products, edible CBD products, just anything in that realm. He get you right. It's happyhourcollab.com, and just hit him up, man. It's a great website, link everything. So, yeah, shout out to my boy LB.
I see you representing the Hickory. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, wait, whoa.
Okay.
Go Hickory High. Tornado Pride. Yeah, we stay. Hold on. State champion. 16-0. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
3A state champs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Congratulate me, please.
Y'all didn't have to do my boy
Congratulate
like
me,
that, bro.
please.
Shout out to Hickory.
2023.
Shout out Hickory.
Clap for him.
Yeah, alumni.
Shout out
over here.
3A football state
Y'all
champs.
didn't have to do my boys like that though. North Lincoln, my little cousin Shannon Jr. He had a great
Yeah,
season though.
that was
Y'all-
tough.
y'all
What I
have to
do
my
like about
boys
that
like
hoodie is Commander's colors. You should have brought out the
the
Commander's hat.
Commodores.
The who?
The Commodores.
All right, let's go ahead and get to that first topic, man. Let's go ahead and get to that first topic. What we talking about?
So listen. It's okay, because he's a Bron fanatic.
Shout out
You a
Bron
Jordan
Bron.
fanatic.
Shout
I
out
am,
Bron
but I
Bron.
do like Bron though.
I like Bron too.
Okay.
So what I want us to do is, because it seems like in this,
Check out the station.
oh yeah, Big Bron, King James, Goat James, what you want to call him? How we gonna represent him?
Well, I want to call him number 2. He's the second greatest player of all time. That's what he is.
I want to call this "Let's Appreciate Greatness."
That's what
I
you
want us
say.
to talk about appreciating LeBron doing what we never seen any NBA player do.
And what's that?
Still balling. Just turned
People
30.
don't ball to this age before.
On his
Kareem
level,
Abdul-Jabbar, Vince Carter.
But were they the face of the NBA?
Bro, they wasn't doing this, bro.
Were they
Stop,
still
bro.
top 10?
Is Bron the face of the NBA?
Were they
still?
winning cups?
Basically.
Were they winning cups?
cups?
Every All-Star game prior to them going back to the original formula, it was Team LeBron versus Team whoever. Every time there's an NBA topic, even Steph them say this is LeBron world. We just, you know.
He's still the face of the NBA.
They say it, bro. The man is in.
How many points he
What's
averaged?
this year? 25, 7, and 7?
And he's 39.
But I mean,
And he's been playing over 20 years.
They like 17,
are
19,
those the
you know,
best
but
stats in the league though?
They got the best stats in the league.
He's
but-
39.
Bro, to be that age, look what he's doing.
Because he's 39 doing that, that's why he's still a face.
No, that's not that because he's still that guy.
He's still that guy.
But there's people
Just
with
like
better stats.
Just like last year, like
If
bro,
there
they
are
wasn't even
people-
supposed to make it to the damn the Western Conference Championship, or let alone like even be there. They was a play-in team.
If there's
and
people,
look what they did.
If there's people with better stats though, right?
Yeah.
That are younger,
yeah.
who are up and coming in the league.
They're not Bron. I
They're
get what
not
you're
Bron,
saying.
bro.
They're not
They're
Bron.
not.
So that's
Steph
the
couldn't do
point.
it.
That's the
Giannis
point.
couldn't
He's
do
the face
it.
by default, not because he's still the best in the league.
Because nobody has taken it yet. Just like with AD, he told AD to take it. He still ain't took it yet.
Oh, it's people that can be
AD?
up and comers.
The face of the league?
No, the face of the Lakers at least.
Oh.
But I'm just saying.
talking about face of the league.
He just
That's the wrong
said, like,
combo.
if somebody can take it, then okay. But bro, nobody's taking that yet.
Giannis
Don't get me
might.
wrong. Don't get me wrong.
If
I
he's
think,
still the
I
face,
think, I
man.
think Ja gonna get there at some point, potentially. I think Luka maybe, but it's hard with because even like good as Giannis is and Joker, you still have people that doubt them for whatever reason. Like I don't know
What do you mean by
maybe
take it though?
It's a foreign. I don't know. It's
I just want us
weird.
to appreciate LeBron.
So you don't know what you mean by take it?
No, I'm talking
Then it
about.
should go to
I'm
somebody
talking about-
else.
I'm talking about as far as what I mean. Why they don't really let a foreign like international player be the face of the league. But
Well, it's getting ready to be
I'm
with
just
Wemby
saying,
in
like,
a little
bruh,
while.
Wemby?
Even with
In a little
Wemby,
while.
like with all the potential and stuff he got, like it's I don't know, bro. 'Cause
Like
you
when
see-
Jordan was in the league,
gotta
there
think-
was no doubt about
Okay,
it from his
but
first
when
ring
Jordan was with
until
the
his
Wizards-
sixth
when
ring
Jordan was with
that
the
he was
Wizards-
that guy,
but
best
when
player in the
Jordan
league.
was
No
with the-
debate.
Jordan was with
No
the
debate.
Wizards, he wasn't the face of the league.
But you just
But
taking
we
it
not-
apart.
we-
We talking
we-
about LeBron's
that's
whole
after he
career. You just
retired.
talking about a
But
part of
After
Jordan.
That's
he
my
retired,
point.
though. That was after he retired the Wizards. We don't even consider the Wizards part of his real
But
career.
No, Jordan
But why
fans
not?
don't consider that a part of his.
That's
career.
because he
was
came back to
part
be a
of it.
mentor.
No,
He was the
didn't.
owner of the
averaged
Wizards.
20
Came
at
back to
40.
play
He was
basketball.
partial
That's
owner.
not mentorship.
He was partial owner. He was teaching them boys how to do the thing.
Man, he was averaging 20 points.
He was
It's
teaching
like-
them
He
how
was
to get
trying to
there.
win.
How to
It's
beat
like
them.
He was
Snoop
trying to
said, bro,
win.
Is you hurt or you injured? That man was out there playing
That
basketball.
don't count as his part of his
Jordan
career that we
fans
focus
don't
on.
count it.
But why can't we
But
just
y'all don't count
appreciate
Jordan
LeBron,
losses
man?
at all,
We
so it
are.
don't matter.
I have
But
a-
it
I
seems
have
like
big appreciation.
every time LeBron does something great,
They bring up Jordan and
some
Kobe.
analyst, some former player has to say something negative.
They have to bring up Jordan
Like
and Kobe.
he won the cup, and they got mad because they raised it up.
Because what does that mean?
They raised up Eastern Conference and Western Conference championships.
a mid-season tournament? What does that mean?
Bro, they raised up division banners,
So they didn't
Eastern
wanna
Conference
win?
banners, Western
That
Conference
because
banners.
that's season long and
was so
it means
funny.
something at the end of the season. What
It's
does winning
funny.
the mid-season cup mean?
Everybody
It
said
don't
that
help
just-
you get in the
everybody said
playoffs.
that-
It don't help you
said
get a
that just-
ring.
Everybody said it just like the bubble ring, but everybody was trying to win. But then when they got beat, it didn't matter. When LeBron won it,
Well,
didn't
at least the
matter.
bubble ring actually counts as a real ring.
But I'm
What does
just
the
saying,
mid-season tournament
when
count
LeBron
as?
does it, it's
It's
like,
the
oh, it
first.
don't matter.
It's the first.
But if Giannis
But
or
what does it mean,
anybody
though?
else,
What does it count as?
think about if Indiana would have won that. If Indiana or somebody would have won it, they would have
I've
went
been
crazy.
thinking about it for a long time. I'm trying to figure out what it counts for.
I've been thinking about it.
What you mean when it counts for? It counts
You
for
said
they winning
think
the
about
first
it.
in-season tournament.
And what does that mean?
It was the first initial year that they did it.
That's a Mickey
so
Mouse
what
ring.
It mean. I didn't say it was a ring or anything, but
Okay,
they
it's
won
a
it.
Mickey Mouse ring. So what I'm saying is,
Mickey
it doesn't
Mouse?
mean
But my
anything.
thing is, if somebody else would have won it, it would have mattered, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm
Oh, the
trying to
NBA
say.
won't have nobody else win it.
Somebody
LeBron
else
did
won't
it,
have
so it
nobody
don't
else. It's
matter.
only cause
They
it's
won't
Bron,
have
bro.
nobody
It's
else
only
win it.
cause it's
Thank
Bron that it caused controversy that their
They
banner
won't
went
know-
up.
There
If
you go.
the Indiana Pacers would have won it, if
Milwaukee would've won it,
Milwaukee would have won
anybody-
it.
Listen,
If the
They were like,
NBA was
Dame
not going to
and
let
Green-
nobody else win it, it was going to be the Lakers.
What you mean they not gonna let them win it? They had to play basketball.
And now certain powers that be won't going to have it any other way.
Boy, you need to
Oh,
start listening to
my
Cat
God,
Williams,
bro.
boy.
I don't even know what to talk about right now. We're doing our own interview. Got our own podcast. Shout out to Club Shay Shay. He doing his thing, but we got our own thing here, and it's mandatory that we speak our mind, right?
LeBron, see,
And I
that's
think
what I
he's
said.
great.
That's what I said.
So,
Even when
I think
LeBron
he's
win
great.
it,
I think
even
Bron
when
is great.
LeBron win it,
This is not
somebody
LeBron hate.
made him win it.
This
He
is not
can't win it
LeBron
on his own. Somebody made him win it.
Even
But
when
this
you
ain't
say,
LeBron
oh,
hate,
you know,
though.
Kareem done played it. Like, look at Vince. Vince at this point in his career was not averaging 25, 7 to 7. His
Let me ask you
teams
this,
were
Pete.
not competitive. Like,
Let me ask you
Nobody
this:
was.
Is LeBron the
He's-
GOAT?
he's my GOAT. Yes,
Okay, so if I say LeBron's number 2 greatest player of all time, is that hate?
I don't think that's hate. That's your
Is
opinion.
that hate?
No, that's not hate.
Then how is that not LeBron appreciation? I say he's number 2 of all time. That's a great accomplishment.
But I wasn't
That's
talking
a
about
great
that. I'm
accomplishment.
talking about the
But
fact
look,
that
but look.
they won the instant tournament.
But
all I
Everybody
did was
act
a
like, oh, it
comparison.
don't
But
matter.
look,
All I
listen.
did was a
But
comparison. I said I compared him to Jordan from the fact that when Jordan was in the league, nobody questioned the fact that he was that guy.
But listen, when people talk about Jordan as the number one and he's been great, it's always.
Is he your number one?
Yes, but listen,
Okay.
it's always positive. When we talk about LeBron at 2 or 1, it's always positive.
Because there was nobody really that you could compare Jordan like that with before Jordan. Like there were other great players.
That
but
tells
Jordan
you about
was
the talent level in the
unquestioned-
league at that point.
Huh? So what?
That just tells you about the talent level in the league at that point, but that's a whole nother discussion.
So you don't think it was up to par?
I don't think, no, I really don't, but that's a whole nother discussion.
So you think
that's
90s
another
basketball
discussion.
talent level wasn't up to par?
I don't.
Oh, boy.
Skill
That's
level and
crazy,
all?
Pete.
Come on, bro, stop. Some of those big men in the league couldn't even play in today's era,
You
bro.
can't even touch people in today's league. Ain't no defense or nothing.
Bro, just because you can
Team
foul
scoring
They need to get
160,
rid of this
171,
thing
80.
here, war, by the
Just
way.
because you
They
can,
need
bro,
to
just because you
get
can
rid of
clothesline me, don't
They
mean
scoring
you
more in
was
the
good, bro.
NBA games
Averaging
now than they scored in All-Star
130
games back then.
You
Points a game.
Bro,
There
that's
should be
'cause
no
you
defensive player
got
award in
literally
the NBA.
people that literally was in the game just to clothesline you or take you out, and they was on the team. It's people that didn't get in the game just to be an enforcer, bro. Like,
part of
those
the
guys
game.
wouldn't even
That was
last
part of the
into
game.
the
They get a
league.
little jump shot.
They would be like a Rudy Gobert or something.
That's part of the game. Just like now part of the game is
Like,
you
stop,
can really take,
bruh.
listen, back then that was part of the game. Just like now part of the game, you could take like 3
But
and
my
4
point
steps
is,
and that's not a travel
those
anymore.
guys, man, stop. They always made rules for that. Like, people carried
they
and everything
didn't.
back then,
Man,
bro.
they
you can
hopping
step backwards.
back. Yeah.
Go back to
sideways,
Steve Francis
the
and
other
all of them,
side,
bro.
Euro
Some of those
steps
guys
and
was doing
everything.
street ball moves in the NBA, bro.
But not 3 and 4 steps
You
like
had
they are
Ray
now,
for
Pete.
Austin in the league
Pete,
at
you
that
can
time.
you can literally end down
Giannis
the ball,
literally probably walks every fast break dunk.
but they let it slide. You know why? Because that's part of today's NBA, and people don't complain about it, like because they've gotten
People do
used to the
complain
fact.
about it. Y'all talking about it right now.
What I'm saying is, generally speaking, they've gotten used to it. Just like generally speaking, back then they got used to the physical play that dudes
That's
had
fine,
back
but
then.
just because you can be physical don't mean you're better than me. That's just like if I'm whooping
I
somebody's
didn't say it was
ass
better.
and they grab me.
I didn't
That
say it
don't
was
mean
better,
you can
but
beat
you
me.
used that as less skillful. You said because it was
Yeah.
physical like that, it was less
Guess
skillful.
what? They couldn't
And I'm
stop-
saying-
they couldn't stop
I'm
Jordan, so
saying
you know what
both
they
could
did? They
exist. I'm
fouled
saying
him.
both could exist.
And
You can be
still couldn't
skillful.
stop him.
I'm saying you can be skillful and physical at the same time.
But some of them guys wasn't skillful. They just was physical.
Just like some of the guys now ain't skillful.
I disagree.
No
I
physical.
don't even think you can be in the league
Disagree
without
with who?
having skill.
Disagree with who?
You have to have a certain level of skill to play in the league right now, bro.
Oh my goodness.
You have to. It was guys that was dribbling with one hand at that point in time in the league. You can't do that
In the
no more.
90s? You talking about like the 50s and 60s?
Bro, trust me.
Not
it happened
the
in the
90s.
90s.
Jalen
Stop,
Brown
bro.
dribbles with one hand. Jalen Brown dribbles with one hand.
Everybody was not Rod
Jalen
Strickland,
Brown
bro.
dribbles with one hand.
Having handles was still a thing. Why was Allen Iverson such a big deal when he came into the league, bro? If
Listen,
having handles today,
you talking about dribbling with one hand.
Stop, bro.
Jalen Brown ain't got a left hand.
Man, stop, bro.
He ain't got a left hand, bro.
Anthony Hardaway,
Y'all not about to say.
Tim
Those
Hardaway,
are
Gary
diamonds in the
Payton.
rough. Those were not, and then those are people in one generation like Isaiah Thomas,
Yeah,
like
oh,
Nate
yeah.
Tony Archibald,
Yeah.
like Pistol Pete Maravich.
Now you mixing up
didn't have,
eras.
everybody didn't have.
You
but
want
I'm just-
Pistol Pete
no,
and
I'm
Isaiah
just saying
Thomas in the same
everybody
era.
didn't have handle like that. Those guys were once in their generation. Like that's why they got talked about.
But Isaiah
So
Thomas,
you saying-
Isaiah Thomas's era, lots of people.
Even in the era,
Isaiah Thomas's
who was
era.
athletic as Jordan besides Dominique and maybe Clyde Drexler?
Nobody's athletic as Jordan right now.
Man,
That's a
stop,
good point.
bro.
Nobody else athletic
Stop.
as Jordan right now.
You done had
this
Vince
is
Carter,
athletic.
you done had Rudy Gay, you done
You
had
didn't know
Kobe,
it.
you
But
done had
Jordan
T-Mac.
was 6'6".
Come on, bro, stop,
Jordan
bro.
was 6'6" with a 48-inch
Man, y'all better
vertical
stop,
and a
bro.
4.340.
Man, y'all
There's
better
nobody
stop.
6'6" in the league doing
Man,
that right
y'all
now,
better stop.
including Bron in his
T-Mac,
prime.
Vince Carter,
They not.
LeBron.
They
Like,
not.
look at LeBron.
D-Wade.
They not.
Look at LeBron,
They're
bro.
not running
Stop it.
4.340s. They're
LeBron's
not
a
running
machine.
4.340s.
LeBron's Karl Malone
They're not
doing
running
what he's doing.
4.340s.
Stop, bro.
P, they're not doing 4.340s
Bro,
with a
he's the
48-inch
same size as
vertical.
Karl Malone,
LeBron
bro.
did not
Stop.
measure a 48-inch vertical. He's not the same
Bruh.
caliber of athlete overall athletically as Jordan was.
Well,
Stop
let's
it, bro.
Let's listen.
Stop it.
I want to appreciate LeBron's career on and off the court. On the court, I think he had the greatest career ever. Maybe not the greatest prime, maybe not the best winner, but just story from 17-year-old kid straight out of high school.
I thought we were talking hardwood.
hard on and off the court.
Okay,
That
get
that
off the
all
court.
matters. That all matters.
But nah, when we talk about the GOAT, the off the court don't matter.
Okay.
On the court matters.
But even on the court, 17-year-old kid straight out of high school, still.
Yeah, he's number 2 of all time.
Okay, that's
That's
fine.
not hate.
It's not hate.
Okay, cool.
It's
As long
not
as we're
hate.
on the same page with that.
But
we can clap for Bron. I appreciate LeBron. I think he's great. When he was
gotta
with Miami,
Stop
I
being
thought-
sarcastic with it. Put some
No, listen.
respect on the King's name.
You remember, you're a Miami Heat
Put
fan,
some
right? Ain't you a Miami Heat fan?
Yes, but put respect.
When Miami
put
had Bron
respect
and
on
Wade
the
and
King's
Bosh.
name.
When Miami had Bron, Wade, and Bosh,
Yes,
what was
sir.
I doing?
You was rooting for the Heat.
Hard. Yes, sir.
You right. You right.
Okay. No hate here.
Hey,
No hate here.
Brian, we appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, sir.
Happy birthday. End of the year, 2023.
Shout out King
We in 2024 now. I don't know when y'all gonna see this, but you know what I mean? You're the king. Number 2 of all time.
Yes, sir.
Number 1.
But even though we were talking about his greatness on the court, like you say, I do want to highlight that off the court, he displays to be a great father. And I think it's actually interesting that he's
I got a quick question though.
Okay, go ahead.
Why y'all ain't got on your bronze? Y'all such big bronze fans. Why y'all ain't got your bronze on?
I didn't want to wear LeBron.
Look at this camera, man. You got on Jordans. Where bronze at?
What the shoes got?
Where y'all bronze at?
I got LeBron.
He said on and off the court. Why y'all ain't buying bronze off the court?
God almighty.
The same
Episode
reason,
1 you
the
had
same-
on Jordans.
The same reason
Episode
his
2 you
son-
got on Jordans.
The same reason his son had on J's, and everybody was questioning that.
Yeah, it's a rightful question.
okay.
It's
a
a
good
nice
question.
shoe. It's a nice shoe.
You said on and off the court.
Kids wear
Get it
bronze.
go both.
I'm a teacher, bro. Kids wear bronze too.
Okay, cool. We like they wore Jordans? Okay, we can move on. We can move on. We can transition.
All right.
Hey, score that a point for me. I won that debate. Let's go.
No,
Nah.
Let's go. Let's move on. I'm ready.
no.
Who's the number one lead scorer in the NBA?
It don't matter.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
go. We move on to the next topic, right? I thought.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyways, back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. Off the court, not talking about shoes.
Okay, cool.
His personality.
I'm with you.
He displays great. Looks like he's a great father to his boys.
Great character?
Great character. And I've always talked to some of my friends and family about the differences between like when we were coming up and how parenting was, how teaching was, how the adults, how we looked at our coaches as the authority figure and our teachers and our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then today's time. And there's different backgrounds of how we were raised. Some people are raised in single parent homes. Some people are raised with both parents, but you feel like neither one of them are there. Some people are raised by both parents and you got a great background. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is when we look at the youth today and some of the people that we consider role models, or our kids or the young people consider role models, how much of an impact do you think parenting today has on the way these kids behave and move and aspire to fulfill their dreams and such?
Well, I know when we were talking off camera about a couple weeks ago over the phone, I know P had some interesting thoughts on this topic around single parent households and whatnot.
Yeah.
Can you share some thoughts on, dive a little bit deeper into what you meant? Explain what you were saying and then
Man.
let's get into it.
I mean, okay. Everybody's different, bro. And now that I'm a parent, it's like being a parent and reflecting on your traumas and reflecting on different things. I feel like parents just overall need to be more accountable for the traumas that they cause their kids in general, whether that's good or bad. Like, and that's not saying that you're a bad parent, but you have to take responsibility for certain things that you cause, whether it was indirectly or directly, because, I mean, everything is different. The eras are different. But like I said, even with me being a parent now, I try not to parent the way that my mom did, in a sense, like from the discipline standpoint and the whoopings and things like that, just because it's like, I know I didn't like those things, or I know now I can't stand being yelled at. That's a trigger for me because I got yelled at a lot as a kid, or I got like talked to a certain way, or called names and certain things, and even certain things that I deal with, as far as like having like, I guess you would call it like food anxiety or something like that, because you know, always being scared of your weight, or you know, being called black this or fat this or this and that, like, and you get older and then you know, get in relationships or just in general, and everybody like, well, why don't you do this or why don't you do this, and then you start reflecting and you think it's just you, but then you start unwinding some things in your life and in your past, and you realize, oh well, I do this because, well, I was raised this way, or this person used to do this to me, or this person picked on me in that fashion, or, and it's just like, you know, sometimes, a lot of times when parents, when we did discipline, like with mom and dad, like normally the mom tends to be the quote unquote nice parent, the dad has to kind of be the disciplinarian if they're in the picture. And then sometimes when you're a single parent and you're the mom, you try to be the both. And then when you have kids, especially boys, as the mom, you tend to kind of be a little harder on the boys because you want them to be tough to a certain extent. And then sometimes with that being the case, sometimes you can be too hard on your kids. Sometimes, you know, you don't know how to interpret those things because you might be lacking something that the kid needs, or the kid might be lacking something that you might not necessarily, that you might need necessarily, and it's just a tug of war in that sense. And sometimes you might be trying to parent and do things the right way, but it comes off at the wrong time. Like, for instance, you might have some parents that let everything go by, and then when that one day they might be frustrated as hell, and then next thing you know, you get disciplined not because you did something wrong, but because your parents are frustrated. So it's a thin line. And I even had a conversation with my girl, and we was talking about the difference between how I was raised and how she was raised, and certain things. And she just posed a question like, what's the difference between discipline and abuse? How do you know when you push the line too far? How do you know when you take things overboard? So, a lot of times she tend to be like the more understanding and like the parent that's more calm and try to look at things too, because she's like, you don't have to, parent with discipline like in that fashion where you beat your kids and talk crazy to them, because at the end of the day, you can still do all those things and whoop them and whatever, and that kid still turns out to be the same way or does the same thing, and sometimes that's just not constructive. It's just like teaching. Everybody learns different. Just because you teach them a certain way, that don't mean they're going to interpret it the way you want them to interpret it all the time. You have to figure out alternative routes. So, I mean, it's just...
I will say this.
Yeah, man.
I will say this. I was raised in a two-parent household. Have my mom and my dad in the picture the whole time.
Yeah.
They're still together. They're still together to this day. They've been married for over 40 years.
That's a blessing, bro.
It is. And
That's amazing.
I don't take it for granted either, because like I know every child, especially us being, black, didn't have that type of upbringing.
Yeah.
And my situation, bucks the stereotype of how black men were raised, because not only did I grow up in a two-parent household, but they were good parents. My mom was the nurturing one. My dad was the disciplinary, like you were talking about, the disciplinarian. But I do think times are different now than they were back in the day. Like, I got a lot of whoopings.
Right.
I got a lot of whoopings.
Yeah.
I got a lot of whoopings. But listen, though.
I didn't get...
You probably deserve that one.
I got borderline,
See, here's the
You
thing.
probably deserve that one.
I earned every one of them.
I thought so.
I earned every one of them. And but it didn't come, like, I never felt like I was being abused, though.
Right.
And I definitely wasn't verbally abused. Like, I wasn't called out my name. I was encouraged. And I always was made aware of why I was being punished. Why I was being whooped, why I was being, chastised in the manner that I was. So, like, I was keenly aware of that. I might not have agreed with it, and I might not have thought it was right at the time, but it definitely helped me become the man that I am, and it also helps me parent the way I do now. Now I have two kids. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I have a son who's still an infant. And I know the way I'm going to raise my son, as far as discipline him, I just know it's going to be different than how I raise my daughter. I felt like because I got 3 sisters, I felt like I got it a lot harder than they did as far as the discipline.
And you were the
Can I
oldest.
ask you a question?
And I was the oldest, but also though I was probably the worst of the 4 too.
Can I ask you a
Like, I
question,
earned
though?
them. Go
I
ahead.
put my money
I'm
in
pretty
that.
sure you as a kid, especially being the only boy in the family with also girls,
Yeah.
it was certain things where it was like, well, they can get this because they're a girl and you the boy, so this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I get what people say when they say that, oh, you got to raise, like you talking about right now, but you as the boy in this situation,
Yeah.
how did that make you feel on the back end?
What
And how
part?
do you prevent your son from feeling like that, or feeling like
what?
the girl is favored over them because you have to be slightly tougher, or people
But
feel
he was
like
the oldest, too,
as
so
a
that's
boy,
a double
I feel
win.
like-
people feel like,
like-
okay, because you're the girl, then you get this special preferential treatment, and because you're the boy, I got to do you like this.
Well, my case was a little unique because not only was I the boy, but I probably was the worst
Got you.
of the 4. I probably gave my
so.
parents the toughest time. And so, like, I don't really know that you can compare it in that sense, but I will say this, there was a balance as well. Even when they did get in trouble for real things, and maybe I got in trouble for those same things and I got a worse punishment or a worse consequence
Yeah.
than they got because I was a boy. Like, my dad, physically put that belt to me, whereas he didn't necessarily do that with my sisters, at least not as much, at least not that I saw.
Right.
At least not in the same way, because you know what I mean? Like,
You're like, damn.
them things hurt, bro.
Yes, sir.
Them things hurt. Let me tell you something. I
That
don't
was
know how much
bringing
you,
back bad memories.
I don't
That
know
was,
how much
that was my mama, bro. My dad never
I
whooped me.
don't
That
know
was
how
my
much he was
mom.
holding back, but what he gave me, it was hurting with that belt. But at the same time, though, I think it was a balance because I also feel like I got to do more stuff than they did. You know what I mean? Like, when I got to my teenage years, I felt like I got
You
to
had
hang
more
out
freedom.
longer and later.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was because I was a boy
Yeah.
or, because they knew they had to give me a little bit more rope
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, I was gonna sneak
The girls tend to
behind their
get-
back
get
and
more
do it
get
anyway.
More sheltered, yeah.
So maybe like they gave me a little more rope so that I wouldn't take it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was disciplined harder, but I felt like I was given more freedom and more of a rope as well. But what about you in your situation?
Man, my story is a
Because
lot.
you the first dad of the group, so
yeah, you got the
how your
oldest.
experience
You got the
been,
oldest
cuz?
kids.
Yeah,
Man, listen.
you had kids before me and Stat.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, I got to catch
Cause your
up.
oldest is what?
He be 12 soon.
Wow.
In a couple weeks.
JJ,
That's crazy.
12 this
Jeremiah.
month.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's time to fight now.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
Oh man, that's funny.
I'll tell him that too.
Hey, don't do my boy dirty.
Hey, whooping make you tired. I ain't
It
got
do.
time for that, boy. Let me jack you up.
Yeah, but back to your upbringing though. How was yours?
It was like yours. I had both my parents, but like my dad didn't whoop as much, but we didn't like what he did because he had this long belt with his name on it. Like, whoa.
God.
And so
You got a
my
signature belt?
mom,
That's gangster.
which is Preston's auntie, she whooped us all the time
Yeah,
with
Aunt Fran.
anything,
Aunt Fran.
anything that was close.
Yeah, shoe, wooden spoon off the stove. It didn't matter.
But I always hated when she say, "I'm gonna wait for your dad to get home." Be like, "Mama, go ahead, just go ahead, do what you gotta do." You know.
So he pull out that belt with his name on it.
The belt was, and then they used to talk to you back then.
Yeah.
Didn't I?
Yeah,
tell
every word
you?
was a lash.
And then, like you hollering because you hurt, and they telling you to shut
You
up.
better not cry. And you done tried to
It's
kill
like,
me.
but it hurt. Though.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, but yeah, it was pretty similar to yours. Like both
But,
on.
okay,
Let me
can
tell
I
you
ask
about the
y'all a
last
question?
Go ahead.
How did y'all upbringing help y'all relationship wise, or how did that affect y'all? Like, far as, okay, you grew up in a traditional household, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times, a lot of women, you know, have a certain standard for men, but it's like a lot of men don't hold women to the standard that their mother or their grandmother had. Because I feel like a lot of times, even in my relationships I've been in, if I held the person I'm with to the standard of the women that I grew up with, I don't know if they could uphold to that standard. Those were some strong women.
That's the,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
those women
tough.
held down the household, they worked, they, you know what I'm saying, they didn't complain much about certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just a different level. Like, they were just a different level. Just like the men at that point, they were different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they took on more. And I feel like,
How would you
How does
compare?
that-
How would you compare the men and women of that time to the men and women now? Like as far as relationships and raising kids and
It was
like.
definitely
I mean,
more
look at our- I
traditional
mean, just
then.
look at our
It was more
parents.
traditional then.
How has it evolved?
I mean, I just think because the more open things have become, especially the aspect, first of all, the
'Cause I feel
aspect
like-
of
I feel like-
social, first of all, the aspect of social media have blew things way out of proportion.
I feel like parents are less strict now.
They way
That's-
less
that's
strict.
why I brought the topic up, 'cause
I grew up
it's-
in an era. We grew up in an era where we still got our eyes covered when certain things came on the screen. We had to walk out the room,
Get out this room,
when
yeah.
cussing was on the TV.
Yeah, now you
They
can't
didn't
avoid it.
they didn't even cuss on the team. Like now you
Now
can
the
say
kids watch the shows
you can
that
say
grown-ups
bitch,
watch.
nigga, all that on TV. We grew up in an era where you couldn't even do that. Like
Right.
everything was
We had
censored.
those family sitcoms.
Yeah, like you couldn't be in the room sitting up under adults while they were talking. You had to stay in a child's place. Like you couldn't talk back. You
Now
couldn't.
the children
you
in
couldn't
the
question
conversation.
certain
Are
stuff.
we too far gone to get back to
I
that?
think we're way too far gone, bro.
And did our generation?
But
mess
no,
it up?
hold on, wait
Are
a
we
second.
re- are
Wait
we
a second
raising
though.
kids
But I will say this: we got some men in this room right now that I can attest I know are great fathers. So we can implement and get these kids back. Like just we not trying to control them, but the level of respect and obedience.
Yeah, it's out the window,
Is,
bro.
with me working in the school system, whether it's 2-parent home, 1-parent home,
How do you
It's the
institute
same
that with
across
kids that
the
ain't
board.
your own
these
though?
kids, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
How do you implement that with kids that are not your own?
that's what I'm saying. I really don't know the answer to that. But what I'm saying is I know people in person, my brothers and sisters that I know are good parents, but I feel like there's not a lot of us.
Yeah.
But I feel like we got
But what
to get
defines
together
a good,
some
what
kind of
defines a
way.
good parent in this era?
What
That's
defines-
the question
yeah,
too.
That's a good question.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, listen to what
'Cause
y'all
everything
saying.
is
Listen to what
different,
y'all
man.
saying.
But what
though.
defined a good parent in that era?
But-
like people speak about how there was daggone near abuse as far as how they were.
And that's the thin line.
But even listening to y'all though,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, he was saying he learned how to be the dad he is from not just the good things, but a lot of the bad things.
Right.
You learned how to you copying some of your parental styles from your parents, because of what they showed you. What I'm saying,
And I'm also not saying that they were perfect parents. There's stuff that I do differently with my
but what
kids
I'm
as well.
saying is, we got to determine what's right and wrong and what's acceptable and
Every
not.
situation is different.
And
But that's always been the case, ain't it?
but I feel like, but I never felt like I was on my parents' level. These kids today feel like they can talk to us like they on our level.
Yes, bro.
I never like we got to
These
get
kids like your kids?
like no like
Just
kids
in
in
general,
general,
like working in the school
like
system,
the way
just out in the
I even talk
open.
to coaches.
I could
They
have,
stress
bro. I
coaching
see kids all the
because
time.
kids are not coachable no more. You tell them, you correct them on something, they're
I got
like
attitude.
waving you off. Like I remember respecting my coaches
Yeah.
and like my teachers and
But the world is also a lot different now than it was back then. Like social media and like you talked about earlier, and just the internet in general has made things a lot more smaller, and you can see like what's going on everywhere all the time at once. You know what I mean? And things
so they
change
feel
so
more
fast.
they feel more empowered.
They feel more empowered, and like they can voice their concerns to a broader audience because of the internet, because of social media, and people can get checked on what they're doing wrong, you know, or what people perceive, their kids perceive that they're doing wrong.
And they
get
call
checked on it quick,
and they hit
quicker.
and they call 911 quick too.
And they can cancel you. They can get on your case. They can look up your address. They can go and pick it outside, whatever the case may be. People don't be wanting to get put in those predicaments.
Yeah.
But
Because it's so much easier now
Yeah.
because of how the world is now
Because back
versus
in the day,
how
they
the
might
world.
threaten. They'd be like, well, call DS or something like that, you know.
Back in the day, you didn't even know what was going on in the next city with their kids
But-
and
but
their.
I'm gonna ask you this last question about this, because as a teacher and a parent, just seeing, and as a coach, I coach kids too. It's just it worries me. So I'm saying what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, what do you think our future
do we find
looks
a common
like? What do you
What's the
think our
solution?
fu- like
We can't just talk, and not have no solution, bring no solutions to the table.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we have to figure out one out right now
I
in this hour that we're talking.
I think that's gonna be a hard task because I mean I can use my situation to a certain extent, even an example, or even with y'all. Like, bro, every situation is different, but even you as the parents are different. Like sometimes even with me and my girl, she feel like I'm too hard on them or I'm this, and you know, and it's just like I'm not trying to be like that. Like, but I feel like they're lacking these things right here from a certain structural standpoint, and I'm trying to instill it in them so they don't give you a hard time. They don't give us a hard time. They don't question what we do. We don't have to keep repeating ourselves and things like that. And it's like, I understand their kids are going to do things, but I'm like, it's not that big of a difference in disparity in these kids to where we could listen and be on task and they can't. But
So
it's
you know-
just a disciplinary standpoint. Even if people out to say, "Oh, these kids so smart, they're so smart," are they really? Look at the average reading level nowadays. Look how many people are reading below their grade level. Look how many people
But they be
are
street
not
smart.
reading on par. And
They
all
be
these
street
things.
You know what, though? I
Look
think-
how many kids are behind from the COVID year. Look how many kids now in
COVID
speech
was
therapy and all this
big.
other stuff because they didn't have an interaction. They weren't talking and communicating during COVID. So look how far.
But you
behind
don't
a lot
think
of
all
these
that
kids
stuff
are.
existed back then? We just didn't know about it as much.
I don't think it was this bad. No,
But
I
let me
don't,
ask you
because
this,
we
though.
never experienced nothing like COVID.
You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask
COVID
you this.
was a setback
Let
for
me
the
ask you
kids,
this.
for real.
Do you think parents nowadays are trying to be like too much on their kids' level, like friends with their
Yes.
kids?
Yes, I
because
really do.
because
I
me and
really
you have
do.
had conversations where parents and adults and people our age and up, because all of us are over the age of, all of us are 32 and up.
Yeah.
Right? So like 32 and up doesn't look now like it used to look back then.
No, it didn't.
You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
we
Like
look
we're
great.
all
32 and up
like
used
we're
to
all
be
32
like-
and up. Like you already
If
you was
wasn't
suited
a
and
professional man, you
Yeah,
was like,
like-
going home. You was coming home from a factory, tired.
So do you
like,
think that has
looking old.
something to do with it? Because we look like our kids to a certain degree. Like back in the day, our parents, you know, generally speaking,
No,
you
you're
know what I mean?
right.
Generally
See, but
speaking,
see,
our
because
parents
of
were
the
wearing
hip-hop
coats
culture.
and hoodies and stuff like that.
My parents have, because of my upbringing, my mom has always been kind of like of the culture, and my dad too. Like, my
Yeah,
dad
you're
has never
you're the
been
exception.
My dad never been like the suit and tie dad. Like my dad still like. I mean,
I
my
had a suit
dad,
and tie dad.
my pop was sagging, and I didn't even sag. I still don't sag. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah.
I had a suit and tie dad, and I'm still one of the parents, you know what I mean, that look like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, that be like the kids. So what I'm saying is, do you think
But
that
you
makes a
Stack
difference?
City, though,
Kid-
so.
I am Stack City.
Let's
but
go.
at the same time, you're LG and you're barbershop here.
Let's
and that's why,
go.
you know, we fresh as we is because it's mandatory.
It's
But anyway, back
mandatory.
on topic.
On topic.
So listen, what I'm saying is, I think a lot of kids look at adults now, and because we kind of look like them, like they think they on our
The
level.
respect level ain't the
Yeah,
same, right? I got
it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
It seems like the distance between them and us is a lot
But
closer
even
than it used to
still-
seem
We got
back
the
then.
same social media
even
they
still,
got.
Okay, but
Exactly.
even still, okay. Think about. Well, I knew the way I grew up. I grew up seeing, you know, guys, dope boys, whatever you want to call them, whatever. So I seen them, and they dressed and was a part of the culture and was urban and stuff. But they was the people like, hey yo, nah, you're not doing that. Like, look, here you go, this and that. Like giving us advice and really giving us knowledge and game and trying to steer us in a different direction. And they looked like us, and I could relate to them. That's why I listened to them, and I still was able to take heed to what they were saying. These kids nowadays, it's like y'all just feel like y'all know everything, and y'all feel like y'all smarter than what y'all actually are. And it's like I can't even communicate. Most of these kids can't even look you in your eye when they're talking to you. They don't even know how to really communicate without being on their phone.
Yeah.
But it's like y'all
And COVID made that worse.
But y'all think y'all know everything, but you can't even look somebody in their eye and shake their hand. But you can't even hold a conversation.
Yeah.
So
They
what
don't
we
even know
need,
where to start.
what we need to do is,
we got to put a pin in this and come back to it.
yeah, we need to
With
come
more
together.
solutions.
We need to come together and figure out what we can do to better our youth. Because I am concerned about our future. I'm just gonna be honest.
I am too, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
From coaching kids, teaching kids,
I'm
and raising
concerned about
kids.
humanity as a whole. How about it
Yeah,
like that?
as a whole. Right.
I'm concerned about the world our kids are going to grow up in.
Yeah.
And our grandkids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's going to be, obviously it's going to be a lot different than the world we grew up in. But I want it to be safe.
I almost
want
want to just break out singing
and
"We Believe the Kids Are Our Future."
Go ahead. Hit the note. I won't be joining you, but go ahead and hit it.
I'm sorry, I need a background.
So, nah, I can't do that.
All
I
right,
can't do
well,
that. That's
we're
where I
not gonna
stopped.
do
That's
that
where my
then.
limitations
We're
are. I
not
know my
gonna do it.
limitations, and that's where they are.
Everybody
right
needs a
there.
dabble in Devontae.
That's why I started rapping. I couldn't sing.
This man said a down with Devontae. That's funny.
But anyway,
Shout out
like,
Jodeci.
I just wanted to be a world our kids can grow up in safely and be productive in, and not feel like they have to be in the streets.
That's another thing,
or be
bro.
in the clubs.
Look how many
or
shootings and
whatever.
stuff happen now in these schools, man. Look how many kids get guns and stuff on
Remember when
campus.
school used to be a safe place?
Yeah.
I don't know. My school.
We used to have DARE programs and all of that stuff, bro. Whether they worked or not, we had that stuff. Like, they don't even got DARE programs and
That
all
boy
of that.
said whether they worked or not, boy.
We had them, bro. Let's be honest.
I don't know how safe y'all schools were, but I grew up on the south side of Trey Folk. We
Okay.
always had stuff going on.
I
in our
mean,
schools.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's always been stuff going on, but I'm just saying, bro.
It won't mass shootings though.
It's
It won't mass
uptick.
shootings.
Yes, bro.
It won't
Like,
mass shootings.
these kids come to school and be having guns and stuff. Like, that's
Yeah.
different, bro.
Yo,
Where we at,
so
though?
when we was talking about having this conversation, I heard us say the way we were in our 30s as parents versus the way our parents were in their 30s. I think it has a lot to do with like the way we dress, the way we talk, because of hip hop culture, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to bring up now is coming up as a hip hop fan, I love artists that were storytellers, that were lyrical, that used poetic devices. So some of my favorite rappers are like, you know, Nas and Jay and DMX and Pop, like people that you felt like they were telling
Slick
you
Rick,
their
they
truth.
telling you, yeah.
You felt like they were real. Their stories.
You could picture what they was rapping
Yeah,
about.
they would give you the picture of their upbringing, like we're talking about now with the parenting and their struggles, and you could connect and relate to some of it, and some of it you couldn't. And then next thing you know, you're influenced by these guys, and you're trying to wear Timbs like them and baggy jeans like them. You know what I'm saying? But then there was a rapper that got upset with Meek and Rick Ross, Kobe and Shaq song
Yeah, a
because
few months ago, right?
a few months ago because you know, this rapper was like, these guys are like, or Meek, he was really talking about Meek at the time, you know, with you know, trying to, because of what happened with him, trying to lead like, you know,
He was trying to say like
Like-
you guys are doing good stuff
but
in the
you
community,
rapping
but you still
about bad
rapping violence.
stuff. So in the song, Meek had said a bad line, a violent line, but at the same time, you
Like
like
Pusha T still rapping about coke, but nowhere near cocaine right now. Getting paid by McDonald's for
Right.
I'm loving it.
right. So what happened was, one of my favorite rappers of all time, Fat Joe.
Yeah.
A lot of people got upset with this guy. This was a rapper named D1. Got upset with his comments. And Fat Joe was like, I lied 95% of my rhymes in my career. And it kind of like,
And it went viral.
it went viral. And then you had like different MCs speaking on it. So I'm just like, because of the hip hop fan I am, I was like, what? No. Right?
But that he lied and not
Yeah, because I'm like, he a real one, right? So like, it's hip hop now that because back in the day, you didn't want nobody to know that you was writing for them. That's why they call ghostwriters.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, he wrote it. You know, now people like Drake got a writer. Like everybody like getting accused of having a writer now. But like,
So what you're saying
so
is,
what I'm saying is, like, as hip hop fans growing up, were we bamboozled? Is hip hop like wrestling?
it is like, that's a good point. It is like wrestling to a certain degree because some of it's real, a lot of it's not, but it's all for entertainment. You You know what I mean? But here's
It
the question.
is.
Here's the question though. Does it matter? Like, do we care that our favorite artist of the hip hop genre might not have been doing everything that they said they were doing? Not to say that they weren't, because I know some were, probably. I don't know them personally. But does it matter though?
bro?
But
I'll
I
be
think to a
100%
degree
honest with
it
you, bro.
did
Like,
matter. That's
I
why you
feel
had
like, I feel
ghostwriters.
like it mattered to a certain extent from who's writing your lyrics, because people take that so serious. But that's when you're an MC. That's when you're a KRS-One or Busta Rhymes or Mos Def or
Fat Joe.
Talib or like when you in that realm and you like doing it for that, then yeah, it matters. But I mean, some of my favorite R&B artists and people outside the hip hop genre get songs written for them all day, every day, entire albums, and nobody bats an eye.
no,
But
that's different.
ghostwriting and what's the violence in your songs is different.
It's just like, but it's just like, okay, these people that grow up and have these fictitious images and all of that stuff. It's just like athletes today. Like Draymond Green, for an example. I'm sorry, I don't think Draymond's a tough guy, bro. He's been a privileged athlete his whole career. Yeah, you came from a tough background, but you were an athlete. They knew you were destined for greatness. You knew you were going to go to the league. You were like a Kobe or somebody like that. And
Draymond
we
gonna
know.
put you in that
So
chair.
nobody in the NBA is a real tough guy.
And we know these guys. Yeah, that's real tough guys. We got guys like Bobby Portis. You got guys that's like DeMarcus Cousins and people like that that came to the league. But some guys like Draymond that always picks on like a Jordan Poole or
So are
Rudy
you
Gobert
saying?
and people
So you
like
saying
that.
some
Like,
People
NBA
he
guys
know that won't fight back.
Are you saying?
it's like that? Like a lot of hip hop is like that. It's like you bully the guy that you know is not gonna.
Are you
mess
saying
with
some
back.
NBA guys are real tough guys and some aren't?
Yeah,
But
it's like in hip hop. You got
but
some real
those,
ones
and
and
just
you
like
got some
those
guys just faking it.
those other guys you named, they were privileged athletes too. So how are they real tough guys?
Which ones?
The ones you named,
I'm
like
just-
Bobby Portis,
no.
Kenyon Martin, all them guys.
No. Kenyon, okay, but I'm just saying. But you see, it's a certain thing with those guys that you know is real, like a Ron Artest. I look at Draymond and I just don't
Steven
see it,
Jackson.
bro. Like, I'm just be real, like, and I'm not saying like I say all the time, I'm not a street nigga, I'm a nigga from the streets. It's a difference. Like, yeah, I come from that, but I don't portray that, bro. I pay taxes. I don't care nothing about that not snitching policy, all of that stuff. A lot of shit that we were taught and raised on is hogwash, bro. Like,
So-
it
so
really
I think
a lot of stuff that we get pushed in the culture is BS. That's like with the whole Gunna situation. I don't care if Gunna snitched or not. The nigga made a good album. I don't care. I'm gonna listen to it.
So what I'm
Like,
saying
a
is,
lot of y'all favorite rappers are on the same
how do we
stuff,
know?
so
How do we know Draymond ain't
it
really a
don't
tough
matter.
guy? How do we know?
Because when he's been in real situations, for instance, one of the examples when Tristan Thompson tried him in the nightclub and he didn't want no smoke,
Yeah.
and there wasn't no referee,
Because he don't
nothing,
never have
guess
conversation
what?
with tough guys.
He
Now,
didn't want no smoke.
I'm not saying none of those guys are tough guys or not. You know
And
what I
look at the
mean?
people that he
'Cause I
tries.
ain't trying to like.
It's been confrontations where it's like, bro, he didn't want no smoke.
I'm not scared of none of them, but I ain't trying to like get on the bad side of none of them neither. So, but at the same time, I don't really think none of them are really tough guys like that.
I'm not saying
Not like
that, but
street
I'm
tough
just saying,
guys.
like,
But I
it's
think
different.
Draymond's
just like a Charles
portraying
Oakley, bro,
the tough
but
guy role.
Just
So
like a
it's
John
like-
Morant, like with the whole, with the gun out. It's like, bro, like you're an athlete, you're worth millions. You don't have to be tough, bro. It's like the rich white kid that wants to be from the hood so bad. Why?
I tell you why,
Like,
because part of what you was talking about earlier, like because hip hop has a lot to do with the way society has become to some people in some people's eyes, and because they portrayed bad as good, you know what I mean? It don't feel good to be good anymore. Like it never for a long time since like the 90s.
But
Like the good kids
like,
really want to be
but the
portrayed
thing
as
like
bad.
Like the thing like us, okay, like
That's
us,
true.
like, and I'll
That's a
say
good point.
me for example, but like I'm not from a good area. I never portrayed to be a tough guy, nothing like that. But I'm one of those people that come from that background, bro. I was trying to get away from that. If you come from that, you're trying to get away from that. You're not encouraging
speaking
that.
from somebody to like, all right, so I grew up in a unique situation. Like I was originally from Cheverly and Suitland, Maryland. I was real young, you know what I mean? But I knew then, where I was from at that time was not where I was from when I ended up in Winston, which is in a decent middle class neighborhood that was on the south side with a lot of hood elements around me.
Right.
Whereas when I was little, you know what I mean, there was more like hood elements around me and in the neighborhood that I was in.
Right.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that even though I wasn't trying to portray somebody who was tougher than what I was, I was still tough to a certain degree.
It's just the way you carried yourself.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I felt like being in the middle class neighborhood that I was around certain dudes and in certain situations wasn't needed for me to broadcast.
Right.
Because I didn't want them to try me neither. You know what I mean? So like I wasn't a good guy trying to be a bad guy, but I was a good guy from a good place that like if you put me in a bad situation, I can still hold my
You can
own
act
and portray a
accordingly.
bad image.
And that's-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I think hip hop had a lot to do with me becoming that.
I agree with
like,
that.
And
Because they glorify a certain image and they feel like it's just like right now, like I said, we talked about the first episode. Like right now, the culture is, you know, all the girls want to be, you know, quote unquote thoughts. All the dudes just, you know, I want the next man girl, and I gotta be popping Zans, and I gotta be doing like that's just the culture, like, and that's just not everybody, bro. But it's just I don't understand why we have to portray a certain image all the time, or it's negative, and it can't even say just hip hop because hip hop is a reflection of what's going on the outside. If we didn't want to hear this stuff and the culture wasn't making this acceptable, it wouldn't be going on. It's just like in the 80s when you had Black Power movement in hip hop and Fight the Power and all of that stuff. That was what was going on at the time. Then you had the transition to the NWAs, and then you had the Uncle Luke's and all of them come sprinkling in and all of that. And it just changes the face of hip hop. But it changes based on the culture. So we need to figure out what is it with us and our people and our culture that makes us attracted to that. That makes us want to engage in the bullshit, which makes us want to be tough. Like everybody's not tough, bro. Like why do you feel like you have to be tough?
I think that gets to the point that D1 was trying to make. I think that's the
of what's going on.
I think that gets to the point that D1 was trying to make. The rapper he brought up that questioned Meek Mill and Rick Ross and Jim Jones.
Yeah,
because
y'all not living like that no more.
Hip hop narrates what's going on in the real world. But if some of these guys like Meek Mill and Rick Ross and Jim Jones, like if some of those guys, to D1's point, are living one way in the community but still rapping about another way, then like are they really? Why aren't they narrating the good stuff? Why are they still narrating the stuff from 15 years ago?
It's just like 20 years ago. You always hear people rapping about going to jail and catching and sliding and all of that, but you never talk about the back end of that. You never talk about
because it doesn't sell.
You never talk about missing your family.
It doesn't sell.
You never talking about missing the years and not being able to be out in the open.
It doesn't sell.
Yeah,
it doesn't sell.
It's another side of that, bro.
So D1 says like that we have to change as the consumer. We have to change our thought process and us rushing out to get something that's negative, as opposed to saying, you know what, that's negative. I don't want to get that. I don't want to push that. I want to change my community. So let me talk about something, or let me listen to stuff that's positive and get stuff from people that are talking positive stuff like D1, like Lecrae, like these other guys that are talking positivity, rather than these guys who are living one life but still talking about 15, 20 years ago.
Does that go back to the second topic? Does that go back to the upbringing in your childhood and the way you was raised? And what we make acceptable?
Does what go back?
Because the culture. Like where did that get instilled from? It's just like, I don't know if you've seen a video of it going viral. It's like these little girls that's like maybe 5 or 4 years old, and they rapping that Sexy Red and Drake song, like
and dancing and stuff.
Make that pussy breathe and all of that. These girls are like 5 or 6 years old, and they like gyrating and everything, and they just rapping this, and and it's like, bro, that's really not cool. And if you know better, you do better. And it's like, going back, it was stuff that we heard and we shouldn't have been listening to either. But I can also acknowledge, like, bro, me seeing Lil' Kim on the front of that hardcore photo cover with her legs busted open and shit had my mind thinking somewhere different when I was a kid. Me seeing, what's my girl name?
Foxy Brown?
Not Foxy Brown. Sexy, what's her name? Adina Howard, Sexy Grind. Me seeing her video and how sensual and stuff she was, like, that had an adverse effect on me years on down the road, seeing those images and certain things. And you might think it's acceptable, think about it in that light, but then you go back and you're like, damn, like, that's not really cool. Yeah. So it's like, people will be like, well, we listen to that, or like even when I look at comments and stuff, they're like, well, what was stuff we listened to, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but that's cool, but should they even been letting us listen to that?
You know what though?
Then go back and ask yourself that question.
At the end of the day though, like negative, and it goes back to the root of a lot of this, like negativity is there's always going to be a draw, a pull. Sin is attractive. Like negativity is attractive. Like not like forbidden fruit is the fruit you want to taste the most.
It's the adrenaline. It's like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, it's the fruit you want to taste the most, even though you know it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can know like this is not what I need to do. This is not what I need to focus on. This is not what I need to be about, but still be pulled in that direction.
Yeah.
Like your flesh, like your desires, like what you want.
What's the moral of the story, fellas?
The moral of the story is it's mandatory that we speak our mind on these topics, but for us to tie it up with a pretty bow, I'm gonna leave that up to you. What is it?
Listen, the moral of the story is, I feel like it almost sounds like you saying if the rappers are rapping negatively, it's appealing to the consumer. It's the entertainment that wins and sells.
What's parts to change?
But if rappers ever do decide, like D1 is saying, change their content and speak on what's really going on and have positive content and messages, then maybe Fat Joe won't ever say, I lied in 95% of my rhymes if you just keep it 100. If you just keep it real.
You know what,
you
man?
say,
The more the
keep it
story is,
100.
just keep it real.
Will you be the popular artist? Will you be the mainstream artist?
But-
Because then that goes back to the point of the people that own the labels. What are y'all pushing?
Yeah.
But I
So
guess
what
I
it-
guess
so-
D1
so if I have a
D1 is
positive-
saying
It's just like Kanye
let's
West.
make the attempt.
It's like Kanye said before Kanye was actually Kanye, and even at that point, Jesus Walks had been a thing. They didn't want to sign him based off that song, like, because it's just not. It's just like Tebow. He used to kneel and like had shirts with Bible
Timmy
scriptures
Tebow.
and all of that stuff, and they would make him turn it inside out.
The GOAT
It's
cosplay
like,
of all
why?
time, by the way.
And I just never understood that. But it's like, why is it that you can have something negative, but if I have something with my religion or
Because
whatever I
just
believe
like-
in, I got to turn it inside out because it offends someone. Who gives a damn if it offends someone? Everything
Just like
offends
P in
someone.
school. P can be in school and have on the 11s with some trendy jeans and a nice shirt and a fitted, you know what I mean, and be cool with all the, you know what I mean, cool dudes and be appealing to all the girls. But at the same time, if P a 4.0 student, a 4.0, like, that's not the image that a lot of P's around the world,
Yeah.
that's not what they want to project to their peers. Like, I'm smart, I'm a bookworm, I like to read. You know what I mean? Like,
But I
even
live
if
in the
they have other
neighborhood-
stuff going on for them.
Well, I live in
They
a
want to
neighborhood
they
where
want to
that's
they
not
want to
acceptable.
put they want to put the other stuff on Front Street.
Yeah.
The cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because being smart, being appealing in that manner, like being a bookworm, being a voracious reader, like those aren't things that are pushed in society and through music,
But
so
what is
they
it
don't
gonna
think it's
take-
cool. They
but
don't
what
think
is
it's
it gonna-
cool.
But that's the thing. Like, what is it going to take to make that the thing? Because I even did a paper on that, and it was about how my genius is dangerous. Because I'm in school and I'm in honors and AP courses and stuff, but then outside of that, I'm messing around with my boys who in gangs and everything else.
Yeah.
To the point where they try to put me on a gang contract, but I'm like, bruh, I'm in school with CJ and these people. I don't see these people. I don't even know a neighborhood they stay in outside of school.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, they ain't even never been to my neighborhood.
Right.
So it's like, and then with that, it's like, all right, and here I can't be too black because I don't want to be the token black guy.
Yeah.
But then with them, I don't want to be the guy where they say, oh, you talk white. Why do I talk white? Because I use correct pronunciation and I know how to use correct syntax.
What do
Like,
y'all think, man? What do y'all think? Put in the comments what y'all think on this
It's crazy,
topic right
bro.
here, man. On each of the three topics. You know? Because, I mean, I think they're all, like, entertaining, not entertaining, but, like, informative, and they have an entertainment aspect.
Thought-provoking.
And thought-provoking topics. But, and we all have our own opinions. We're going to debate, we're going to agree, we're going to disagree, and all of that. But it's mandatory that,
Let's appreciate LeBron.
yeah,
Parents, let's step up our game and support our youth.
okay.
Bingo.
And it's good to be good.
It's good to be good.
It's good to be good.
Is it good to be good or is it mandatory? Which one?
If you asking me,
Yeah,
it's mandatory.
I agree with that.
Amen.
You know what I mean? LG, Barbershop P,
My guy, Stack City.
Stack City from the Tray 4. It's mandatory.
Tornado Pride, let's go.
Season 2, Episode 2.
Season 2.
It's a wrap. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, comment, and share to your social media accounts.